Hello students, welcome back to the biology classes. Dear students, in previous lecture we have studied about the vegetative propagation and of asexual reproduction. Dear students, in this lecture we are going to discuss about the sexual reproduction in organisms. Dear students, sexual reproduction is a biparental process in which new individuals are produced through the fusion of gametes. Okay, actually the sexual reproduction is also known as amphimixis or syngenesis or amphigony. Dear friends, in this sexual reproduction, the new individuals which are formed are morphologically or genetically is similar to their parents, but they are not identical to their parents as in asexual reproduction. Okay. So, dear students, sexual reproduction involves mainly four phases, four processes. First is gametogenesis, second is fertilization, third is embryogenesis, and fourth is development. Dear students, in gametogenesis, haploid gametes are formed through the process of meiosis. Okay, through the process of cell division, which is meiosis. Okay, dear students, in case of fertilization, actually fertilization is the fusion of two gametes in which male gamete and female gametes fuse with each other and form zygote, which is diploid. Dear students, remember one thing, gametes are haploid which have a single set of chromosome, whereas zygote is diploid which have two sets of chromosome. We can give an example of humans. As we all know that humans are diploid, they have 23 pairs of chromosome, total 46 chromosomes, but in their gametes they have only 23 chromosomes. Okay, so that's why gametes are haploid. Third process is embryogenesis. Dear students, in embryogenesis process, zygote divides repeatedly through mitosis. Okay, and after that it differentiate and form and develop into embryo. So the development of embryo through zygote from zygote is known as embryogenesis. After that, this embryo develop into the new individuals, and that process is known as development. Dear students, when we talk about the sexual reproduction, it has both advantages and disadvantages. First, we talk about the advantages of sexual reproduction. Dear students, the sexually reproducing organisms show variations. We have already studied that in asexual reproduction, variations cannot develop as the offsprings are identical to their parents in asexual reproduction, but in a sexual reproduction, the gametes from two different parents are fused to form zygote, which develop into embryo and which develop into new individual. So in that case, when the chromosomes came from two different parents, so that lead to variations. Okay, due to and remember one thing, these variations are very essential for the organisms because they lead to evolution. Okay, the variations are the major factors for the natural selection and for the evolution. Okay, those organisms which show evolution are easily adapt to their environment. Okay, if there is any change in the environment, those organisms which have variations are able to adapt. Okay, and ultimately it lead or it cause vigor and vitality to the sexually reproducing organisms. But dear students, there are some disadvantages also. And in sexual, as we all know that sexual reproduction is a biparental process, so it include two parents. So it is a slow process and it need a lot of time and a lot of energy. Okay, and ultimately, as fertilization is also a chance factor. Okay, it depends upon the chance whether two gametes are fused or they are not able to fuse. It depends upon probability. So these are the main disadvantages of sexual reproduction. And dear students, first we talk about the sexual reproduction in plants, okay, flowering plants. And flowering plants are also known as angiosperms. And in angiosperm, main plant body is sporophytic, okay, uh, which is diploid in which is diploid. As we already talk about the humans are diploid, and angiosperm are also diploid. Okay, here we are only talk about the flowering plants. Okay, we are not going to talk about angiosperm, gymnosperm, algae. Okay, here we are only discuss about the angiosperms. Angiosperms are known as flowering plant. Okay, and the main plant body of the angiosperm is sporophytic. Okay, that is diploid in nature, and these angiosperm produce flower, and the flower is the most important part which is concerned with the sexual reproduction. Dear students, actually flower is a modified suit, okay, and it's all parts including its sepals, petals, stamen, carpel, and they are all modified leaf. Dear students, when we see the structure of a flower, okay, when we see the structure of flower, the flower mainly has uh, the different parts like calyx, corolla, androcium, and gynoecium. Okay, we can divide these parts into two types: non-essential parts and essential part. Dear students, calyx, which is also known as sepal, okay, is a non-essential part. Okay, and it is mostly green in color, and it is the outermost, it is present on the outermost side of the flower, or we can say the outermost whorl of the flower. Second non-essential part is petal, and it's also known as corolla. It is colored part, and it is present next to the sepals. Dear students, the when we talk about the essential parts, and first essential part is androcium. Okay, androcium is also known as male reproductive organ, and here androcium is also known as stamen. Okay, stamen has two parts. One is anther and second is filament. Okay, as here stamen is also known as androcium. It is a male reproductive organ of the flower, or it is very essential as it produces male gametes. Okay, where second is pistil or gynoecium. Okay, that is also called carpel. Okay, carpel, one is stamen, second is carpel. Carpel is female reproductive organ. It is also known as pistil. Single carpel is known as pistil, and it is also called gynoecium. Okay, carpel has three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. Okay, these are included into the carpel, or we can say that the gynoecium. So this is the structure of the flower. Dear student, first we talk about the stamen. Okay, as we already discussed that the stamen is also known as androcium. It is the male reproductive part of the flower, and it has divided into two parts. One is anther, second is filament. Okay, and stamen is also called microsporophyll. Okay, and it is the male reproductive organ of the flower. And next is when we see the transverse section of the anther. Actually, anther has microsporangia. See here, anther has microsporangia, in which microspore mother cells are present, which develop into pollen grains. Okay, dear students, these are the microsporangia. Okay, actually normally when we see the in angiosperm and stamen in an angiosperm is or we can say the anther of the stamen is mostly bilobed. Okay, it has two lobes, and each lobe has two theca, so that's why it is called dithecous. Here you can see that this is the transverse section of the anther. When we see the transverse section of the anther, it has bilobe. This is one lobe, this is second lobe. We can say that this is the first lobe, this is the second lobe, and each lobe has two theca, first, second. Okay, so each lobe have first and second, two lobes. Okay, so that's why uh, and remember one thing, and each lobe has a microsporangia. So mostly in angiosperm, tetrasporangiate anther are present. Okay, in when we see the structure of anther is bilobed. It has two lobe, one first and second, two lobe, which have two outgrowth. Each lobe has two outgrowth that are known as theca. These are the two outgrowth that are known as theca. So when we see a typical anther, it has four theca. Okay, it is bilobed and it has four theca. Okay, so each lobe has two theca, so that's why each lobe is dithecous. Okay, and each lobe has a microsporangia. Here this is microsporangia, and in the microsporangia, microspore mother cell are present, which develop into pollen grains, and when the pollen grains are mature, these microsporangia, okay, fuse with each other and form pollen sac. So these pollen grains are mainly present into the pollen sac. Okay, mostly all anthers are bilobed, dithecous, but there is an exception, China rose. In China rose, only two microsporangia are present instead of four. This is an exception. Dear students, when we see the structure of pistil, okay, that is also known as gynoecium. Okay, and it is also known as carpel. Okay, single carpel is known as pistil. Actually, single carpel is known as pistil, and it has three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. Okay, in ovary, ovules are present, and these are all present on thalamus. Okay, actually all floral parts are present on a flattened structure that is known as thalamus. Okay, when we see the structure of the flower, these all floral parts are arranged on a flattened structure that is known as thalamus. So here we can see that this is the structure of a carpel, or we can say the pistil, and each carpel has stigma, style, and ovary, and in the ovary, ovules are present. When we see the structure of the ovule, what we have see that in the ovule, there are some layers are present. This is the outer integument. Okay, outer integument. This one is inner integument. Okay, this is micropyland, and this is chalazoid. Okay, this is nucellus. In nucellus, parenchymatous cells are present. Okay, and this is the central cell. This one is central cell here, and this complete is embryo sac. Okay, in the embryo sac, two synergids are present. Remember, number of synergids is 2. One egg cell is present, two synergid cell, one egg cell. Okay, one central cell is present, and 3 antipodal cells are present. 3 antipodal cell, one central cell, one egg cell, and 2 synergids are present. So in embryo sac, total number of cells are 7. Okay, total number of cells are 7. In embryo sac, 7 cells are present. But remember one thing, in central cell, 2 polar nuclei are present. In central cell, 2 polar nuclei are present. Yani ki number of nucleus are present in the central cell are 2. Okay, and in antipodal cell, 3 antipodal cell each have 1 nucleus. In egg, 1 nucleus. In synergid, 2 nucleus. So when we count the nucleus, total number of nuclei are 8. Okay, so we can say that in an embryo sac 7 cells are present in which 8 nuclei are present. So embryo sac is 7 celled and 8 nuclei structure. Okay, dear students, now we talk about pollination. Dear students, pollination is the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of a flower. Okay, and it is of two types: self pollination and cross pollination. Dear students, when we talk about the self pollination, and it is of two types: autogamy and geitonogamy. Dear students, in autogamy, transfer of pollen from take place from the anther to the stigma of the same flower. Here you can see that in self pollination, autogamy, the transfer of pollen take from anther to the stigma of same flower. Okay, it is type of self pollination. Okay, in self pollination, transfer of pollen from take place from the anther to the stigma of the same flower or between the flower of same plant. Okay, and if it is the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the same flower, then it is called autogamy. But when the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of a flower of same plant, then it is known as geitonogamy. Okay, and second type is cross pollination. In cross pollination, and transfer of pollen take from the anther to the stigma of flowers of different plants. Okay, here you can see that it is the cross pollination. It is also known as xenogamy. Okay, we have already discussed that the self pollination is of two types. Okay, or self pollination is the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the same flower or genetically similar flower. Okay, is called self pollination. It is of two types: autogamy and geitonogamy. In autogamy, it is the transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of same flower, but in case of geitonogamy, it is the transfer of pollen grain from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower present in the same plant. Okay, or we can say that actually geitonogamy is genetically equivalent to self pollination, but ecologically it is a cross pollination, as the transfer of pollen grain take place from one flower to the another flower. Okay, so ecologically it is cross pollination, but genetically it is a self pollination because it takes place on the same plant. Okay, so same plant is not genetically different, flower of the same plant are not genetically different. And dear students, when we talk about the cross pollination is the transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of a flower of a genetically different plant of same species. Okay, and dear students, so cross pollination take place through different agencies. We divide them in abiotic agencies and biotic agencies. Okay, in abiotic, dear students, sometimes transfer of pollen grain take place through air, sometimes transfer of pollen grain take through water, sometimes insects help in transfer of pollen grain. As we all know that bees are very ecologically important as they are helping pollination. Okay, so in cross pollination, there are different agencies which help in cross pollination. We divide them in two types. One is abiotic agency, second is biotic agency. Abiotic agency, if the transfer of pollen grain take place with the help of wind, then it is known as anemophily. And if the transfer of pollen grain takes place through water, then it is known as hydrophily. If the transfer of pollen grain second is biotic agencies. If the transfer of pollen grain take place with the help of insects, then it is known as entomophily. Dear students, remember one thing: entomology is the study of insect. Here, this word entomophily is derived from that. Okay. Second is bats. If the transfer of pollen grain occurs through bats, then it's called chiropterophily. Dear students, chiroptero is the order of the bats in class Mammalia. Okay, we have already discussed in 9th class the classification of the animals. Okay, if the transfer of pollen grains take place with the help of snail, then it is known as malcophily, and if the transfer of pollen grains occurs with the help of birds, then it is called ornithophily. And dear students, I hope you understand. Thank you.